Hello, my name is Kolo, and welcome back to another Spice and Wolf episode review. Okay, and starting off this week's preview, this episode covers chapter 3 from volume 4 of the light novel and chapters 37 through 39 of the manga. So we begin the episode at the church. Lawrence persuades Elsa to let him in by saying that he's only here to give a confession and that he's not searching for the Abbey anymore. And after the opening plays, Lawrence wants to specifically confess in front of God, as he says. Lawrence, after confessing his lies to God, that being lying to Elsa, but he actually corrects himself, saying that he came here to confirm that this church is the Abbey, asking all of this in front of Elsa and doing it in front of God, as he says, so that she must not lie. Lawrence also gives his reason for coming here, and that being to ask about pagan gods, the pagan god stories that Father Franz collected. He also kind of threatens her with knowing that he doesn't want Enberge to discover the actions of Father Franz. And I like her expressions. Elsa's expressions in this episode were very good. Elsa asks the two of them who they are, and Holo reveals herself to Elsa, walking directly up to Elsa and asking if she wants to touch her ears, and she faints on the spot. I couldn't tell there, but I'm pretty sure Lawrence catches her. I know he does in the manga. So a little later, Lawrence and Holo bring Elsa to a room in the church. Holo saying that she didn't expect her to be as timid. Lawrence thinking that reason to be things are a lot more dire, and the letter that she was waiting to receive, and that she must have been busy all night waiting for it. But then Elsa wakes up reaffirming that it wasn't a dream, and Holo thinks it might have been better if she thought of it as one. Lawrence also tells Elsa again why they're here, saying that they'll get out of her hair as soon as they get what they want, that being to find any clues about Yoitz and where to find it. But after a little reassurance, Elsa agrees to take them to some of Father Fran's records, with that being a hidden basement under this statue behind the altar. Elsa says she'll go first. Holo also states that Lawrence is being a little paranoid or suspicious after thinking that Elsa might burn down all the books and everything in there. He even considered tying Elsa up while she was asleep, or that she might call out to someone. Elsa comes back with letters in her hands, them being for her, of course. Elsa says they can read the books, but only in the church. And Holo heads down there, but I'm surprised we don't see this sense of urgency that is both in the manga and the light novel. There's even some uneasiness you see before Elsa comes back up. I know she runs down the stairs in the manga, but that's a little here or there. Lawrence apologizes to Elsa, saying that he kind of forced her to do all this. She answers this with agreement and saying that Father Franz always thought that the stories he collected were not just fairy tales. Lawrence also talks to Elsa about the trap he laid for her, confessing and not lying before God, that being what made her so uneasy, and now she'll never let her guard down around a merchant. About to finish their conversation, Holo comes up the stairs, carrying a few books, pretty sure they're too heavy for her, asking Lawrence for some help. Lawrence gives Elsa some coins for what she's being put through. So while Holo is reading some of the records, Lawrence checks on Elsa, asking if she is still suspicious and wondering why she's not checking on them. Elsa asks a question of Lawrence, thinking it'd be pretty good to ask him in this situation, asking if the stories in the basement are true. Does that mean God is false? He also talks about Father Franz and how he was almost convicted for heresy, even though he was a very commendable priest, saying that she doesn't know the answer to her question, not even knowing if her hesitation is correct. Lawrence tells Elsa that he doesn't think Father Franz was wrong. And before Lawrence can answer why he thinks that, Sem knocks on the church door. So Lawrence goes back to Holo, saying that he seemed quite compassionate when talking to Elsa. Lawrence also says to Holo that if they take too long, it might snow, stopping their travels. And after this, Holo gets a mischievous look on her face, leaning on Lawrence, motioning him to put his arm around her shoulder. But then he hears footsteps and tries to get up, but Holo kind of doesn't let him. With Elsa walking in on this interesting scene Holo set up, Lawrence being stunned and Elsa going away, and Holo laughing with her victory, and her doing that just to show off. I believe that's the reason she did it. And they take a break after this. Right before they're about to take that break, Holo asks what was Lawrence's answer going to be to Elsa, saying that he thinks Father Franz started collecting stories of pagan gods to prove the existence of God, and his reasoning being that he grew interested in gods, other gods in fact, thinking that if pagan gods existed, there's no way that God himself doesn't, and that he really wanted to feel his existence. And then we cut to Lawrence, Holo, Evan, and Elsa eating, with Lawrence bringing up stories of him out at sea and on ships, talking about the food he ate and the different types of bread. Evan enjoying the conversation because there's a lot of things he doesn't know outside of the village. Lawrence also notices Elsa and Evan's relationship here. He mentions to Holo about Evan and Elsa and how they get along well, this prompting this very surprised face from Holo. Holo makes this face because she thinks Lawrence is envious of their relationship. Lawrence kind of agrees with her, saying that he didn't really want to put their relationship into words. It being true that he's envious, but not of their relationship. Him being basically envious of their future, with Lawrence not knowing what him and Holo will do, asking her what will she do when she returns to Yoit, replying that she doesn't know. Lawrence adds on saying that just having a look at her town probably won't satisfy her. But then Lawrence says they should stop for now, saying that he's sorry. Holo then starts chanting that she is the wise wolf of Yoitz, saying it 2 or 3 times, and forcefully laying her head on Lawrence's lap, asking if he has any problems, telling Lawrence that she's going to sleep for a little bit, asking him to go through the books while she is doing that, biting his finger, making sure that he will. You know, just looking at this is really cute. So while Lawrence is reading or looking through some of the books, he comes across some notes that Father Franz wrote down. These notes talking about the moon hunting bear, also talking about God in the process, wishing that whoever reads this have open hearts and are not so tied to God, or somebody devout to God would be. After Lawrence is done reading this, he hears some galloping in the night. Holo wakes up and Lawrence tells Holo about what he just read, or some of it at least. Holo also focusing on the galloping. Lawrence tells Holo that he wants to hear her honest thoughts after reading this book, and Holo promises this to him. Lawrence catches on to what's happening outside of the church, meeting Elsa at the front, and Elsa telling Lawrence and Holo to take some preparations, to take some suspicion off of them, like hiding some of the books under the altar, especially the one about the moon hunting bear. So some of the villagers make their way inside. Their reason for coming here, Lawrence assuming to capture him, saying that he's a part of the Rowan Merchant Guild and that a lot of people know that he is here, and the villagers start to back off. Sem reassures Lawrence that he's not here because of ill intentions. Sem also telling him that somebody in Enbirch has died from the wheat in Terrio, and the episode ending there. This episode was pretty good. I feel like I talked a lot, especially about the stuff with Father Franz and God and how his beliefs are. I'm really liking Elsa. I think her VA is really good. I think, again, the flashback with Elsa and Father Fran isn't here, but I guess that's a manga exclusive thing. I really like the way God is portrayed in Spice and Wolf, especially this arc and the way Elsa comes into the story with what she believes. And she's a good side character. She does get better throughout this arc anyway, but I think I'm going to end today's review here. I believe next week's episode is going to be pretty, I don't know if I have a word for it. I don't think I can come up with one right now, but as always, thanks for watching and tune in next week to see what happens next.